The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be. Socrates. Life is either a great adventure or nothing. Helen Keller. It is not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages. Friedrich Nietzsche. When marrying, ask yourself this question. Do you believe that you will be able to converse well with this person into your old age? Everything else in marriage is transitory. Friedrich Nietzsche. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Therefore, guard accordingly and take care that you entertain no notions unsuitable to virtue and reasonable nature. Marcus Aurelius. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less. Marie Curie. Men are moved by two levers only, fear and self-interest. Napoleon Bonaparte. The strong man is the one who is able to intercept at will the communication between the senses and the mind. Napoleon Bonaparte. To know is to know that you know nothing. That is the meaning of true knowledge. Socrates. The difference between false memories and true ones is the same as for jewels. It is always the false ones that look the most real, the most brilliant. Salvador Dali. Whatever begins in anger ends in shame. Benjamin Franklin. To find yourself, think for yourself. Socrates. Men create their own gods after their own image, not only with regards to their form, but with regards to their mode of life. Aristotle. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Nelson Mandela. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. Abraham Lincoln. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will be successful. Albert Schweitzer. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. George Bernard Shaw. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. Robert Frost. No one is more hated than he who speaks truth. Plato. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs. Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Walk beside me, just be my friend. Albert Camus. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The love for all creatures is the most noble attribute of man. Charles Darwin. I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse. Florence Nightingale. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Franklin D. Roosevelt. The only impossible journey is the one you never begin. Tony Robbins. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Albert Einstein. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Peter Drucker. In the realm of ideas, everything depends on enthusiasm. In the real world, all rests on perseverance. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Keep your face always toward the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you. Walt Whitman. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt. Experience is not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. Aldous Huxley. You can't look at your competition and say you're going to do it better. You have to look at the competition and say you're going to do it differently. Steve Jobs. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. Confucius. Great things are done by a series of small things brought together. Vincent van Gogh. I want to stand as close to the edge as I can without going over. Out on the edge, you see all the kinds of things you can't see from the center. Kurt Vonnegut. I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. Muhammad Ali. I was set free because my greatest fear had been realized, and I still had a daughter who I adored, and I had an old typewriter and a big idea. And so rock bottom became a solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. J.K. Rowling. Every moment there is creation, every moment destruction. There is no absolute creation, no absolute destruction. Both are movement, and that is eternal. Ramana Maharshi. Men never do evil so completely and cheerfully as when they do it from religious conviction. Blaise Pascal. A man can be himself only so long as he's alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he's alone that he's really free. Arthur Schopenhauer. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt. A man's character is his guardian divinity. Heraclitus. It's remarkable how much long-term advantage people like us have gotten by trying to be consistently not stupid instead of trying to be very intelligent. Charlie Munger. Most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Sigmund Freud. I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. Henry David Thoreau. This is the mark of a really admirable man, steadfastness in the face of trouble. Ludwig van Beethoven. I do not know how to teach philosophy without becoming a disturber of established religion. Baruch Spinoza. If we could give every individual the right amount of nourishment and exercise, not too little and not too much, we would have found the safest way to health. Hippocrates. You have to grow from the inside out. None can teach you. None can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. Swami Vivekananda. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Thomas A. Edison. The supreme quality for leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible, no matter whether it is on a section gang, a football field, in an army, or in an office. Dwight D. Eisenhower. The greatest discovery of my generation is that humans can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. Lee Iacocca. I don't need a friend who changes when I change and who nods when I nod. My shadow does that much better. Plutarch. Truth, like gold, is to be obtained not by its growth, but by washing away from it all that is not gold. Leo Tolstoy. Every human has four endowments: self-awareness, conscience, independent will, and creative imagination. These give us the ultimate human freedom, the power to choose, to respond, to change. Stephen Covey. What is absurd and monstrous about war is that men who have no personal quarrel should be trained to murder one another in cold blood. Aldous Huxley. A man may imagine things that are false, but he can only understand things that are true. For if the things be false, the apprehension of them is not understanding. Isaac Newton. I never could have done what I have done without the habits of punctuality, order, and diligence, without the determination to concentrate myself on one subject at a time. Charles Dickens. Don't gain the world and lose your soul. Wisdom is better than silver or gold. Bob Marley. As long as man continues to be the ruthless destroyer of lower living beings, he will never know health or peace. For as long as men massacre animals, they will kill each other. Pythagoras. I have found little that is good about human beings on the whole. In my experience, most of them are trash, no matter whether they publicly subscribe to this or that ethical doctrine or to none at all. That is something that you cannot say aloud, or perhaps even think. Sigmund Freud. The greatest error of a man is to think that he is weak by nature, evil by nature. Every man is divine and strong in his real nature. What are weak and evil are his habits, his desires and thoughts, but not himself. Ramana Maharshi. An adventure is only an inconvenience rightly considered. An inconvenience is only an adventure wrongly considered. Gilbert K. Chesterton. To copy others is necessary, but to copy oneself is pathetic. Pablo Picasso. A man can live and be healthy without killing animals for food. Therefore, if he eats meat, he participates in taking animal life merely for the sake of his appetite. Leo Tolstoy. Bad times have a scientific value. These are occasions a good learner would not miss. Ralph Waldo Emerson. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. Ernest Hemingway. Mistakes are almost always of a sacred nature. Never try to correct them. On the contrary, rationalize them and understand them thoroughly. After that, it will be possible for you to sublimate them. Salvador Dali. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. Aristotle. Trust is the glue of life. It's the most essential ingredient in effective communication. It's the foundational principle that holds all relationships. Stephen Covey. Perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we can catch excellence. Vince Lombardi. I have realized that the past and future are real illusions, that they exist in the present, which is what there is and all there is. Alan Watts. Life is divided into three terms: that which was, which is, and which will be. Let us learn from the past to profit by the present, and from the present to live better in the future. William Wordsworth. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Lao Tzu. Each day is the scholar of yesterday. Aurelius Cyrus. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Marcus Aurelius. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. Steve Jobs. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Abraham Lincoln. All men's miseries derive from not being able to sit in a quiet room alone. Blaise Pascal. The true measure of a man is how he treats someone who can do him absolutely no good. Samuel Johnson. Every man is guilty of all the good he did not do. Voltaire. It takes many good deeds to build a good reputation, and only one bad one to lose it. Benjamin Franklin. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Edmund Burke. Waste no time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. Leonardo da Vinci. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. Plato. There are three kinds of intelligence. One kind understands things for itself. The other appreciates what others can understand. The third understands neither for itself nor through others. This first kind is excellent, the second good, and the third kind useless. Niccolo Machiavelli. The scientific man does not aim at an immediate result. He does not expect that his advanced ideas will be readily taken up. His work is like that of the planter for the future. His duty is to lay the foundation for those who are to come and point the way. Nikola Tesla. Destiny is no matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. It is not a thing to be waited for. It is a thing to be achieved. William Jennings Bryan. Reputation is the cornerstone of power. Through reputation alone, you can intimidate and win. Once it slips, however, you are vulnerable and will be attacked on all sides. Make your reputation unassailable. Robert Greene. In solitude, the mind gains strength and learns to lean upon itself. Lawrence Stern. My thoughts, My beliefs, my feelings are all in my brain. My brain is going to rot. Richard Dawkins. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. There is nothing permanent except change. Heraclitus. Learning never exhausts the mind. Leonardo da Vinci. Achievement of your happiness is the only moral purpose of your life, and that happiness, not pain or mindless self-indulgence, is the proof of your moral integrity, since it is the proof and the result of your loyalty to the achievement of your values. Ayn Rand. Thank you.